would show some specific stretches that might help with sciatica. So the first thing I suggest is that you warm your body up in some way. So for me, I like to get those hip flexors warm by maybe just doing some marching, maybe even picking one leg up at a time, maybe 8 times each way, just getting things moving. Then switching it to 4 and 4 and 2 and 2. All right, might be worth it to do just a little bit of moving chair as well. So we're gonna raise our arms up, we're gonna sink back and down. You can feel that in your hips and in that crease of your leg. When we're trying to work with making sciatica feel better, a lot of times it comes from tightness in the glutes, and it refers down the leg or into the back. Let's do 3 more. All right, let's take it wide. We're gonna just shift a little bit, check in with our hips again, our glutes. Maybe you just wanna feel the glute, the part right here. If it's tight right there, you've got a little work to do to rub it out or to roll on a tennis ball or a foam roller, something to sort of massage that out and loosen it up. But coming into your wide stance, we're just gonna make sure we're in good form. Knees over ankles. Shift a little bit, make sure those inner legs are warmed up, and then we're gonna go right into sunflowers. So we stay with a squat leg to start with. Let's lift our arms up, straighten the legs. Bring us back to that squat, tilt forward and sweep. Sunflowers. I usually do about 8 this way, and then I say go about 8 in the one direction circle. But I'm just gonna do 4 right now, and then 4 the other way. I'm hitting the couch. All right, so walking those feet back in. So just make sure you're a little bit warmed up, maybe even hips a little, or feet a little wider than hips distance. Take a few circles. Get that, everything flowing in your hips. All right, so some of the best ones that I know, I'm gonna just use my rug and not a mat, are to come into poses like, let's start with some windshield wipers. So we're gonna lay on our backs. I don't know, hopefully you can see me enough. We're gonna let those palms face the sky, so it's an open chest position. And we're gonna take those feet wide, and we're just gonna dip one knee in at a time. So you can add more to this. I'm just to keep it short, but you could do 5 or 8 or 10, doesn't matter, whatever feels good. Then let that knee go up to the sky, take the other one in. And same amount. And then you can start true windshield wipers, taking one knee in and letting the outer knee fall out. You can take that as far as it feels good to you. Your IT band and the outside of your leg, your hips might feel it. You might feel it in your psoas here, so you just do it. Roll it around, make it feel good. And then we're gonna bring those legs together and send them up to the sky. You can hold around your knees, point and flex your feet, circle your ankles, and then just take a few bike pedals forward. Another way to warm up the legs if you want to stay on your back. And then take that bike backwards, pedal it backwards. We're going to put our feet down and reach the backs of our ankles with our fingertips, knees pointing to the sky and space between the knees. Draw the arms in next to your body, palms face each other over your body. Feet are nice and flat. First thing we do is we roll our shoulders under, lifting our chest and creating a little trench between our shoulder blades. Feet are down, backs of the arms are down, tailbone is down, head is down. We're going to lift up with power, lift it up, lift your hips, stretch the front of the legs here, holding here to warm for a moment. This is a bridge pose. Breathing, waking up these glutes. now we're going to add a squeeze motion. You can hold here for 10 breaths if you want, but we're going to go down almost to the floor just to show you the next move and squeeze it up. Just rock it up with a big squeeze of the glutes and a lift of the hips. Then if you want to take your bridge up higher, if you're able to interlace your hands down under your tailbone and roll onto the backs of your arms, you get more of a chest opener here, and you can lift your hips higher and find a different part of the glute that feels it as you lift those hips up, knees moving towards each other but not touching, definitely not falling open, and we just take a few breaths here. And then we're going to release it down. You can stay there as long as you need to. Drawing the knees in or one knee at a time, whichever's better for you. You can always play with just one leg at a time. See how that feels, or take both in. Draw them into your chest. You can rock and roll on your low back if that feels good, or even maybe a little bit of the glute on the side if you get that far over. Happy baby sometimes feels good, and that's where you take your toes or your outside edges and you take them wide and draw those knees down towards your armpits and take a little rock. Then we're going to go pigeon. So we're going to put our right foot down and bring the left ankle in front. And the first thing we're going to do is just send that left knee down toward the bottom of the mat. See if you can feel that on your left side. If you can, that is all the further you need to go. But if you need more than that, you can pick up the right leg, reach around the thigh, reach around the shin, pull it in, and still keep sending this left knee down so it's active. There's a connection, ankle to front of knee, but there's also activity on this right side, on this left side through that left knee and hip. So we hold that for however long it feels good. Sometimes 10 breaths in my class. And then switching sides, we're going to take the left ankle in front. Sorry, that's right. I've got my left and rights all mixed up today. An active foot means we're pressing out through the ball. We're sending that right knee down toward the bottom of the mat. Checking in with our right hip. If it's not enough, lift that left foot up, reach around the thigh or the shin, draw it in, and send the right knee still down toward the bottom of the mat. Holding here for as long as that feels good. Now, glute stretches. I'm going to change my position so I have room to stretch out. In a glute stretch, I'm going to show you two different ways. So on your back, we're going to keep our right leg long, and we're going to lift our left knee to our chest. We're going to take our right hand and draw that left knee across our body, keeping our left shoulder bone on the mat. We're going to just move that left heel up and down. And find a spot where we can feel a pull, a stretch across this left glute. And then we hold. So maybe 5 breaths, maybe 8 breaths, maybe 10 breaths, whatever feels right to you. And then we'll do the other side, and I'm going to show you just a little bit more of a harder pose if you choose to do it. So right now, left leg is long. We're going to bring our right knee in. We're going to draw it across. We're going to find just that right spot where we feel the stretch here. Keeping our right shoulder bone on the mat, keeping our right palm up to the sky to keep our chest open. We draw that right knee over to the left. Feel that pull and that stretch in the glute. Holding it there, the same amount that we do on the other side. Now, a harder version of this is to stack at the knees. Left over right we'll start with. If you can't quite get the knees stacked, you may want to stick with the other glute stretch. But this one, if you can get your knees stacked, we reach down to whatever we can reach to, keeping the knees stacked. So maybe it's our feet, maybe it's our ankles, maybe it's our shins. We draw down on the feet and pull away. That pulling away motion and pushing down fires up the leg that's on top's glute. So that would be left because our left leg is on top. And we hold here. However many breaths you want. Switching sides, let's try it on the other side. Right leg on top. Sides are different. It might look different a little bit on this side, but we're trying for that same stretch and feeling on the right glute. Pressing down and pulling away, pulling apart to fire up the right glute. And then we're going to let that go and we're going to rock up to seated. I want to do a little twist here. So for twisting, we've got a couple of different levels. I'm going to go both legs long to start. We're just going to pick up our left leg, plant the foot here, and it's going to stay on the same side, the left side of our body. And we're going to twist around this to the left, reaching back with our left hand, keeping our spine tall and trying to twist from the belly, not just our neck going around. So we look for a stretch in our left glute. If we're not feeling it, maybe we need to add on. That would be crossing this left leg over the right and then twisting. And if you need even more than that, you take this right leg, tuck it under, keep both sitting bones down, so this left one wants to lift when I do that. Sit up tall through the spine and take that twist to the left. If you're able to use your elbow on the opposite side of the knee to help twist more, if that's available to you, then you go ahead and twist a little more. Keeping your spine tall and taking your gaze to where it's comfortable for your neck. That feels really good. Let's try the other side. So we're going to start with left leg long, bending the right leg. We go right, we cross it over for more, and we tuck lefty under for even more. Twisting from the belly, reaching back with the right hand to keep the right side of the shoulder and chest from rounding forward. We want to open it up, using that arm for leverage if you need it. There is also that figure four, that pigeon we did on our backs, that you can do seated. And it's basically the same way. Let's start with our right leg long. We put our left ankle above that right knee. Sit up tall. You can press down on the knee if you need a little more stretch for this left side, or put your hands behind and use your right leg as a lever, bringing it up, leaning a little bit forward and feeling it on your left side. There are seated, there are on your back, reclined, and standing positions that stretch this left hip in the same basic position to find which one gets the spot that you need. Let's try that on the other side. So we take our left leg long, bring the right ankle above, not right on it, but above it. My right knee is much higher than my left, so I know I have to be more gentle on this side. You can just stay here, pressing down if that's what's needed, just pressing down lightly, or put your hands behind and use your left leg as your lever here to increase the stretch on your right side. And release. Let's go to standing. So tree pose is a good one for the hips too. It also works the core, which we need to help good back health and good core health so we don't get back pain. But turning the left toes out to the side, bringing them in. You can stay on the floor, turning this knee out to the side. You might feel that here if it's tight. If you're having the sciatica on the left side, you might feel it. Or maybe you need to go higher and challenge yourself, hugging in from both hips, all the way up, hugging in, taking hands to anywhere that you choose, finding your best tree. That also helps loosen up the hips, so you can do that on the opposite side, obviously. Or there's the standing figure four version, where you lift that leg above the knee, hug in front to back now, grow tall. That fires up both hips. You might feel it on one side more than the other, but both hips are working to hug in. You can stay here, or if you need a quick stretch and you have some balance, you can sink it down. Moving into the figure four, keeping your spine tall, or taking it all the way to the floor and pressing back through that standing leg, whatever gives you your best stretch on the left side. So just to do the other side to make sure we've got it, we lift our right leg up over the knee, turn that right knee out to the side and hug in front to back, holding it there with our strength from the hips, from the core. If you want to add more stretch, if you need it, you can sink down. This side of me does not need as much as the other, so I don't need to go to the floor to feel it. I just need to keep working this right knee down toward the floor, keeping my spine tall, keeping my balance. And release. So, just a quick circle of the hips. Just a reminder to warm up first. not to do anything that hurts, but to keep good health and nice loose glutes, strong core, and as much stretching around the hips as you can handle that doesn't add to more stress. So I hope that helps. Good luck with your sciatica.